Lesson 11, optimizing for sustainability, not productivity. And this is what I was referring to a while ago in lesson number 2. Again, was it never ends, and that's the point. And I do believe the most famous variation of this lesson, I just twisted it a little, is life is not a race, it's a marathon. If the lesson a while ago focused on getting everything done, this one focuses more on how efficiently and how quickly we can do them. And this example I'm about to give is also relevant to the thing a while ago, which would be the TikTok channel I'm running, which I consider to be my life's work, right? I do feel like I can keep that up for a majority of my life. And when I was starting out, I was of course into optimizing my workflow. How much videos or shorts or reels can I put out in the span of 5 days? And so I had this whole schedule, right? I had this storyboard, I had the whole process drawn out in order for me to squeeze the most out of my schedule, since I was also juggling it with academics and organizational work. You do that for long enough and it just feels like it becomes a chore. As soon as the deadlines sneak in or become part of the picture, then that becomes worse, because now every deadline would be in death, right? Because this is my life's work, this is important to me. I should put more effort, I should stay up a little later, I should wake up earlier than usual, because again, this is important to me. But then I realized, right, if I do really say that this balay thing, this whole life's work thing is really my life's work, then why am I rushing it like it's gonna end this weekend? Made it seem like that those deadlines aren't as deadly as I initially ought it to be. Because as cliche as the whole life is not a race but a marathon thing, it is true. What's the point of rushing it if you're just gonna burn out halfway? For the important things we consider in our lives, like our passions, our hobbies, if we really truly care about them, it's not about the effort, it's not about the discipline. It's a part of it, definitely, but it's not everything. So yeah, if we really do enjoy every single moment of this, why are we trying to treat as if it's something to be done by this weekend? We're more than halfway. Number 12, happiness is overrated. And I know that sounds like a clickbait title. In a nutshell, gratitude is more important. I do think that when we frame happiness as the thing to chase for or to put emphasis on, it's riddled with so many traps, and in my case, constantly moving the goalposts. If I just create this video, then if I just hit 1 million subs, or even 500 subs for me, okay, I thought there was this point in time, if I just reach this achievement, if I reach this milestone, then I'd be happy. Of course, saying it out loud now already sounds stupid as it is, but mentally, we are running on those impressions. Once I graduate, once I pass, once I get 1 point something GPA, everything will be fine. Once I get a girlfriend. It doesn't really work that way, right? I do believe I picked this up from Stoicism initially. This quote just summarizes this lesson. Happiness is about wanting less than it is having more. So gratitude in the small things, right? Lowering your threshold for what makes you smile and laugh. Life is already as sad as it can get from time to time. So why are we raising the standard for what makes us fulfilled? What completes our day? Number 13, plot lines, narratives. Stop pretending you've seen the next page. And this almost ties into the life doesn't make sense lesson, but we're leaning towards more into how we interpret life as a linear progression, because that was my impression initially, right? That's why we have these things called age. For some reason, linked it to levels, right? When I'm age 10, then I'm level 10, and the more I progress up, the more I'm better. I don't know how exactly I could put this in any other way. I'm just gonna read it. You ever notice how we treat life like a movie we've already spoiled for ourselves? If A happens, then B should follow. If B happens, then C is next, and so on and so forth. And that translates, if I do everything right, surely the ending can take care of itself. Says the guy who has absolutely no idea how the story ends. Yes, we are actors and we might have an idea as to how this plot will turn out, but we don't have the script. We don't have the line per line breakdown of how this scene will play out, and how this links to that one plot line that happened 3 years ago. At some point, I thought I had this whole life thing figured out, and this was also a lesson in a lot of my previous videos as well when it comes to lessons, where you can never really claim to have life figured out, because life in many ways will gut punch you as hard as possible, showing you that no, you don't have everything figured out. We get our lines, we get our role, but the plot twist, the timing, the next chapter, the whole lesson, the whole point of all of this we don't really get that from the get-go. So yeah, we should stop pretending that we've seen the next page, like, oh, we've seen this happen before, or I know how this will turn out. Yeah, you can say them, but like half jokingly. We never really know. That's what makes life life. You know what's funny? Exactly last year, I was sitting almost in the exact same spot. Around this time, I am to be interrupted by an insanely loud alarm for an earthquake drill. Just as worse as life is cruel. Oh man, I'm caught in an earthquake drill. I forgot there's an earthquake drill today. I don't know if y'all heard that, but yeah, I'm gonna continue anyways because I'm built different. And I do think it's happening again in like 3 minutes. Alright, moving on. Lesson number 14. We're getting there. You cannot think your way through a feeling problem. I'd like to keep this as short as possible because the irony here is that the more I try to explain this, the more it kind of defeats the purpose of the lesson. You can just like read the article for elaboration, and even that is already one of the shorter ones. It's because, well, words cannot describe as to what I'm feeling right now recording this, supposedly at 20 years old. And like, yeah, I think this is me demonstrating the lesson. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling being 20. And so I've talked about it multiple times in multiple videos, so I'll just try to TLDR it. You can't logic your way through life. Some things aren't really meant to be solved. They're just meant to be there. You just have to learn how to sit with them. And emotions are just a repeating offender. Conversely, I could be a repeating offender of like not learning this lesson as much as I'd prefer it to. I tried to read philosophies in order to deal with not knowing what to do, learning psychology if I couldn't understand people, binging podcasts and videos about attachment theory after my whole first breakup happened. So I just tried to like double down on academics because I thought, oh, if I could just learn enough, then I would understand why the way things are happening the way they are. But apparently that's just procrastination in a suit and tie. I was trying to like stall on actually dealing with the problem itself. And here we go. The earthquake drill is happening, but I don't think it's as bad as the last year one. Because again, some things aren't meant to be solved. Sometimes they need to be grieved. And I, as of the moment, cannot explain how much frustration I am feeling right now. I don't think I can think my way through this, right? I just have to feel it. I just have to wait and like sit with this. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. I'm in an open area. Why would I need to evacuate? I have proof. Knock over hold when I'm literally in the middle of an open area. It's done. And I felt every single second of it. Okay, this is number 15. The danger of shoulds and have tos. Whenever we catch ourselves saying that we should do something or have to do something, there might be some form of, how would I put this? There might be something in there in which we're not truly aligned with. Like whether it be societal expectations or norms or even expectations from yourself. How much of the things we do in our lives that are actually aligned with our hearts? Like, are we doing this wholeheartedly and genuinely because we want to? If I were to take everything that I do right now, whether it be org work, content creation, writing, chess, and everything basically, out of all those things, which of those will I do for the sake of it? Like, I'll just do it. Like, not because everybody's telling me to do so, or it's because I'm trying to like live up to an expectation, or I'm trying to follow a trend or a norm, or trying not to feel FOMO and all that. There is a disclaimer in the article that yes, I do know that there are certain people and certain circumstances in which we really are forced to do something, but even from there, the success rate for those types of obligations are directly linked to how much they actually want it done. The killer line here is a pull will always be far stronger than a push. When you gravitate towards something naturally, when there's no friction, it just happens, then not only will you have more freedom, like you feel like you're actually doing this out of your own volition, you're not being forced to do it, then yeah, it will come easily to you. And if you really do have to do this thing out of obligation, even if it's a pain, you at least have to twist it in such a way that in your head, it's like, oh, I want to do this. And that will not make it any less difficult. It just makes it so that you're more capable of carrying more weight. Lesson number 16. Two opposing truths can be both true at the same time. Basically, moving away from binary type of thinking when it comes to approaching many decisions in life. Yes, it is true that life is composed of having to choose between very difficult things. What I do think that most people under discuss is the idea of tension. A video I made 2 years ago with regards to choosing happiness or greatness is a demonstration as to what type of thinking that might be like, where, oh yeah, just because I want to be great, that means I can be happy, and vice versa, right? That applies to many things as well, like when it comes to career and romantic relationships, or the grind and social life. Yeah, it's not about having to choose between things all the time. This friend of mine, his name is Joseph, I did talk about him in the happiness or greatness video, is that, yeah, like, compromise. But compromise doesn't mean you get the best of both worlds. It just means you can get both, but it's gonna be more difficult. That's a sacrifice, and you just have to live with that tension. Life isn't binary. It's not true or false, 1 or 0, on or off. It's not a clear-cut yes or no all the time, and so you can simplify life into a yes or no question when it comes to a lot of things. Number 18. Oh, June 18. Delusion. Where do I even begin with this one? Whether fate or delusion, as long as it keeps you moving. And imagine this, if life is a raging river and you can barely keep your head above water and you're being swept away constantly, survival instinct would just borderline force you to grab onto like the nearest object you would be able to grab onto in the shoreline, no matter how sharp it may be. And so if life is that river, then those sharp edges or objects are delusion. It doesn't matter if your palm bleeds, as long as you make sure you get yourself out of that river, you know, because when you're being swept away, you feel helpless. You don't even know if there's going to be a tomorrow. And if we were to just translate this into simple terms, sometimes reality can become very unconvincing. You know, it can be unappealing. And I do think it's okay to lose yourself for a while, as long as it guarantees that you get to open your eyes tomorrow when reality becomes disappointing and it's giving you 101 reasons to not be there anymore. Sometimes you just have to make up your own in your head and convince yourself that, oh, there's something there, or I'm a special character, or like I'm like Okabirintaro from Steins Gate, and I have this like alter ego identity that I'm part of some secret organization and I'm here to like. And I know it sounds stupid because it's supposed to be, it's delusion. You know, you can't really explain it to anybody else, but when you're desperate, yeah, I didn't really want to use that word, but when you're desperate, right, it has been very handy, especially during the pandemic when almost everyday life was dull and boring. Life felt like a river trying to drown me, and when you're drowning, you don't care if the thing keeping you afloat is sharp, you don't care if it's rational, you just hold on. Maybe it's faith, maybe it's destiny, maybe it's pure concentrated copium. Whatever it was, it got me through tomorrow, and honestly, it's all I needed. Which brings us to lesson number 19. Sometimes you have to lose yourself in order to gain yourself. I'm just gonna wing this. Sometimes life gets very, very, very mean, and you would often find yourself in a situation in which you're just in a very deep, dark place. We reach an age in which there's like a threshold for when you're almost required to go through something difficult. I doubt that there's like a person in their 20s who hasn't been through an emotionally heavy circumstance or situation, unless they're very sheltered. The instinct or intuition would probably to resist it, like to get back into the game as soon as possible, as best as I can, or like, you know, just get myself out of that raging river, just as I said. But sometimes when everything is like falling apart, like your metaphorical houses are burning down, and as a close friend would say, and I had him on for a video actually 2 years ago, which was Demise or Achilles, as he would say, you know, burn the church down, right? But over the rough ball rises the cathedral. And other variations of this would be, you know, over the ashes rises the phoenix, or even the tallest of trees had to be buried deep within underground at one point. Carl Jung has this quote as well, which would be, in filth it will be found. And sometimes in order for us to grow and become better as people, we really have to just tear ourselves apart. Like, how low can you go in order for you to say that, oh, I cannot go lower than this? It's just like, yeah, it gets better from here, because it can't get any worse than this. I know it sounds like a very, very self-destructive way to go about improving your life, and yes, I would definitely say that it's a very thin and risky line to cross. But again, when you just don't know what to do, you don't know yourself anymore and the things you believe in, your principles, your frameworks, your systems, the people who were once there are no longer there, just start from scratch, just burn everything down. No, like remake yourself and just embrace the darkness, right? I guess the the bad ending to this is very bad, but the good ending is also very good. So I guess there's that risk and trade-off. Okay, I know I said I was gonna wing it, but I can't take the landing. The things we need most are often hidden in the places we dread exploring. Sometimes you think you've been buried, when in reality, you've been planted. Lose yourself if it means finding yourself. Wow. Wow.